Hello, my name is Alexander Ermenkov and today is day 7 of Ruling Reality Basics program. This is the end of week 1 and today I'm going to present to you one of the subjects that is very essential for me, and this subject is really very interesting, and it is something that long term while we are here on this earth is going to bother us. And this is the subject of the change. Why we need to change. What is the meaning of change? Why we need to feel the change constantly in our life. So, how we define change and why everything is changing while we are long-term willing everything to be still. So this is one of the paradoxes of life that I have understood about reality, is that all of us are just willing to come into stillness, and we are dreaming about some wonderful dream where we are imagining a picture and we say, well, if I only come to my perfect world, to my perfect picture, only then I can feel everything that I can feel. I can be fully satisfied of life, of reality, only if I am able to come into this still picture in my imagination. But basically, reality works in a totally opposite way. While we are trying to come somewhere, while we are trying to reach something very strongly, actually the result and the reality is that this stillness does not exist. At least it is impossible to exist, because the meaning of life, the way that we feel vibrant and living, is by this movement and constant change that we are experiencing. So instead of daily resisting change, daily being reluctant to change, better is if we understand it, and actually if we try to really embrace it and to start working with change. So if we see a baby when it is born, then it's constantly moving, changing, the mind needs to grow, everything is growing. So in 2, 3, 5 years it is 100% changed from what it was in the beginning. Also, when we grow a little bit, when we come 18, 20, 25, then it looks like life has stopped, and then it looks like everything is moving much more slowly. But this is something that we can also change. We can start living a dynamic type of life if we want to, if we want and if we embrace change, if we understand how powerful and how wonderful is if we are desiring and willing to change constantly. Because basically we as people, we as human, are a long-term changing machine. All our molecules, everything in our body is changed in the next 12 to 16 months. Almost every molecule is going to be different than the one that we have now. Everything in the body is moving and changing constantly. So what we can do with our inner being is to understand it and to understand how change comes into our inner desire, how to work with change, how to constantly be willing to be something different. then there is also another paradox. And the paradox is, why should I want to change? Because if I want to change, it means that I'm not satisfied with what I'm today. And then how are you going to tell me that I am a person that is 100% fulfilled and happy with what I'm already, if I'm still willing to change and to become a different version of myself for tomorrow? There is a big topic of discussion regarding this. There is one type of mindset where you are trying to totally immerse into yourself to understand how fulfilled you are, how you don't need actually anything, and you can come into a realization that you can be 100% live in total stillness and that you actually don't need to change anything inside of you. But if you go into this direction only, if you decide that you are 100% okay, that you don't have anything that you don't like about yourself, that everything that you are is 100% perfect, then you start to make stillness in your reality. Then everything around you start to freeze. Then you stop feeling the dynamic of life and reality. And this is a possible option, of course. Everybody can decide to stop changing, just to stay in stillness, just to relax of life, just to go into retirement, just not to be involved into reality, just not to want to go and to move into dynamics and into change. This is one of the options. But then there is another option. The other option is you to know who you are, you to be okay with you as a person, with you as a potential, but also to be willing to involve yourself in the dynamic of life, to embrace reality and to start living with change. When you see everything around you, just to see other possibilities, just to see possibility to shift, just to embrace the impossible, just to start embracing the power and the energy of life, and to try to move into directions where you have never imagined that you can go. Then you are all the time starting to think about different questions. What if? What if I can be something more? What if I can be something more deep? What if I can live in another country? What if I can go to another place? What can I change in my life? What else can I experience? There are people that are willing to be more involved and in more interaction with life and reality. And for this type of people, then their change is a good option. For those who are daring to go out of what they are already are and to try to become something new. For all of these people, change is a good thing. So I like a lot change. Personally, I want to change always. I want to feel the movement. And the good thing, especially if you are a person who is willing to change your outer material reality, this is a very important thing to learn. This is actually the key source of everything in reality. Reality is going to change around you. The material world, everything that is happening inside and outside of you is possible to change and shift only if you are willing to embrace your inner self to be changed. I know a lot of people are saying about just learning from life, but I am telling you about something more. Not just to learn and to be a wise person who know a lot of things about life, but to be a person of change, a person who understands the meaning that if you change inside of you, then the reality around you is changing, and it needs to be changed and need to come into alignment with what is already inside of you. So basically, this is something which is always connected, of course, with the goals, with the visions, with what we want to achieve. And we don't understand that actually, if we want to achieve something, if we want to be a person of achievement, a person of success, then you need to understand what actually you are creating. By trying to create outcome in the real reality, actually what you are telling of the construct that is between the inner and the outer world is that you are actually willing to change from within. It is impossible for you to have the outcome that you want without being able to experience the change, so you to become the person that is deserving this outcome. Can I give you some examples? I can give you one of the examples with my body. When I was 137 kilograms and I decided to embrace the identity of a 90 kilogram person, then I generated a change first inside of me, first in mindset, first in my inner self, and then the outer reality started to shift little by little by little, and it needed to come into alignment with what already is within me. So this power and the potential that we have as human beings, that if we decide to change, then we are generating such an enormous power of the total construct of the inner and the outer reality that everything starts to be engaged with what we have decided to do. So this is the beginning of everything. You are the one who need to decide to change. I remember one story when I was little boy, maybe 10 years old, and I remember this story. It was a Japanese story about some very poor family that wanted to sell some flowers, and they did it by taking a little bit of their blood and putting it into every flower, so they were able to earn money, but because they were consuming their money, they're selling these flowers. And what I remembered as a little child, that actually they traded money for their blood, they traded money for their life. So what is happening in reality? When we want to achieve some outcomes, what we are trading? We are trading with our inner world. Well, Alex, I want to be this rich millionaire, okay? But once you become this rich millionaire, do you know how many things you need to give up? Are you able to be a person who is a millionaire and in the same time is a person who can be as normal as anybody else and never feel that you are different from the most poor person in the universe? Or do you want just to gain a significance and to become something other and to become somebody that is more than the others? If you do this, then you start to exchange your inner authenticity, your inner being, your inner purpose for material things. So basically, instead of doing it in the wrong way and go into the wrong cycle of life where you are willing the material world to come to you in exchange for losing all the powers that you have from within, better do the opposite. And the opposite is to learn the power of change and to learn that if you decide to change from the inside, then your outer reality will change. So it's totally opposite. You don't need to be a millionaire today. What you need is to have the mindset now, to embrace the change now, to think how you imagine yourself as such a person. Are you going to become a person of value, or are you willing just to be a person that consumes these millions? It is very important. And the other thing that is stopping a lot of people to embrace the change is the illusion that once we change something in our mind, okay, Alex, I'm going to take this new program of mindset. I'm going to put some new thoughts of my life. Okay, I will try to dream about something beautiful. And then 2, 3, 4, 5 days are passed, maybe a week or 2 or 3, and what happens? Change is not coming so fast. This is what we as humans understand, and this is why the construct is like this, because only things for which you care about are going to appear long term and can be moved into shifts in your outer reality, because the reality is willing to see if you really want this. Because when you want something from inside of you with such a passion, with such a care, with such a burning desire, the universe knows that you will never stop till this thing is 100% achieved and visible in your own reality. So basically, change is very fast in your inner system. It can be done for seconds, but then you need to learn how to embrace the suffering, how to embrace the hardships, how to embrace the patience, and to see the real slow movements in the outer reality, and to see how reality is starting to give birth to this new change that has happened inside of you, little by little. We all know that to have a baby, it takes 9 months. To have a dream to be revealed, it can take 50 years, it can take 10 years, it can take 5 years. For example, in my own personal life, I have created 2 or 3 different big dreams which are going to take 30 years, some dreams that are going to take 10 years, but I am starting already to prepare myself to become worthy of this dream to come into my own reality. Of course, the first step is your mind and your imagination to dare to start the change, then your heart to embrace the wish fulfilled, but there is a long-term game with these change processes. I remember, of course, when my daughter said, okay, one day I want to go to the Olympics. She was maybe 10 or 11 years old. When she had this dream. And it's very easy for little children to have big impossible dreams. But once we are 20, 30, 40 years, I don't know if there are in the moment some of you who can dare to be a billionaire. No, Alex, this is something that is impossible for normal small people, especially for the people of my country. It is possible only for some very selected people. I'm just expressing this impossible dream just to tell you that a lot of us even don't dare to go into this path because we know that it is not so easy and so on and so on. But what I'm willing to tell you with today's discussion and in conclusion is that it is up to you to decide, are you going to be a person of constant change? Do you want to be a person that is knowing and that knows which directions he wants to go and is willing to embrace the necessary changes for this? Thank you for watching and bye bye.